to Sarah, Zoe's roommate. It seems that Sarah has a crush on Jason due to his charm and popularity on the web. Later, the headmistress welcomes a new teacher, a nun from Montana named Sister Sophia White. While showing her around, the two nuns bump into Jason at the school playground. Surprisingly, Sister Sophia finds him handsome and appears to be interested in him. It is also revealed that she is the same murderous lady from earlier. Her real name is Laura, but she appears to have stolen Sophia's identity. Later that night, the young, attractive, and mysterious nun relaxes on her bed, watching one of Jason's music videos. Surprisingly, she even kisses him on the screen. The act seems to be eerily weird for a nun, and it is evident that she is attracted to the young musician. She would like to attend to his mass anytime. The next morning, Sister Sophia starts her first day at school. Once in the class, she sets her eyes on Jason, but gets annoyed and equally jealous when she sees him and Sarah flirting with each other. So, she shifts Sarah to the first desk, much to her annoyance. Next, Sophia prepares to start her lessons, but right then, Zoe reminds her about the morning prayer they always have before class. Hearing this, Sophia nervously instructs the class to start the prayer, but she is unable to recite a single word herself. After class, Zoe shares her suspicion of the new teacher with Jason, but he brushes her off and walks away. He then comes across Sophia and apologizes for misbehaving in class earlier. Out of the blue, the nun asks if he and Sarah are together, but Jason denies it. The following day, though, Sophia catches the two making out. Enraged, she sends Jason away and starts threatening Sarah that she will suspend her. However, the latter reminds the nun that she has no power over her, since her dad is a donor to the school. Sarah then walks away confidently, leaving the nun infuriated and annoyed. After class, Sophia asks Jason to stay behind, which Zoe once again finds really strange. She has been noticing that the new teacher is pretty interested in her brother. Once they are alone, Sophia confronts Jason about the other day, asking why he lied about his relationship with Sarah. Jason understandably remains mum, but Sophia asks him to meet her in her quarters to further discuss the matter. Since students are not allowed to wander into teachers' quarters, Jason is hesitant, but Sophia threatens to report him to the school board if he doesn't do as asked. Therefore, the young and unaware lad has no other choice but to comply. Later, when Jason arrives at Sophia's chambers and is about to knock, she shockingly begins to strip in her lingerie for him. A scared and confused Jason watches all of this go down through the cracked door, and soon he feels uncomfortable and walks away. Oh man, no way. Or maybe Yahweh? The movie then cuts to the weekend where the students are getting ready to go home. At the parking lot, Sophia is filled with rage and jealousy as she sees Sarah and Jason hugging each other. The headmistress interrupts her and talks about some schoolwork. However, Sophia informs her that she will also be away for the weekend since she has to visit her sick aunt. Once back at home, Jason has an intense reunion with his dad. It is revealed that the old man doesn't support his decision to pursue music. He actually wants his son to become more like his overachieving sister Zoe. After a heated argument, Jason skips dinner and goes to the pool for some alone time. However, unbeknownst to him, the obsessed Sophia has stalked him to his house. She is strangely watching him play guitar by the pool. On Monday night, when the students return to school, Sophia sneaks into Zoe and Sarah's dorm room. At the same time, the headmistress Rebecca notices her and starts following her. Next, Sophia gets inside the girls' room and plants Mary Joanna in Sarah's textbook, hoping to get her out of the way by suspending her. After she is done with her plans, Sophia returns to her chambers, only to be stopped by the headmistress on her way back. When asked about why she is roaming the girls' dormitory so late, Sophia lies, saying she was monitoring the security. Hearing this, the headmistress walks away, but she still remains suspicious. The following day, in class, Sophia's evil plan works when she asks the students to open their textbooks to a certain page. Sarah is shocked to see the Mary J in her book, which Sophia quickly grabs and reports to the headmistress. As a result, poor Sarah is suspended from school. Looks like praying to Mary backfired. But the wicked nun is still not done with her plans. She has the school security check everyone's dormitory. Unsurprisingly, they find a bottle of alcohol in Jason's room, the same bottle that Sophia had been drinking in her car the other night. It turns out that she planted the bottle in Jason's room so that she can make him join the community service as punishment, which will give her an excuse to further seduce him. When they find the alcohol, Sophia pretends to sympathize with Jason and and pleads in front of the headmistress and the school board to not have him suspended. Instead, she wants him to stay over the weekend, engaged in community service. The headmistress is a bit skeptical about the idea, but after a bit of thinking, she agrees. In the next scene, everything works out for Sophia. When she seduces Jason while he is working in the school garden, she unbuttons her shirt, and although the teenager feels uncomfortable at first, he cannot take his eyes off of her. And at night, Sophia finally manages to have coitus in his own room. What's more, she even records the deed on her mobile phone. If God's not watching them, Steve Jobs certainly is. The following morning, Jason seems to be understandably worried and guilty, so he leaves the dorm to get some fresh air. Meanwhile, Zoe arrives at his room looking for her brother, but she becomes surprised when she catches Sophia sniffing Jason's clothes. When Zoe confronts the obsessed nun, she is told that she will be reported to the school board for being in the boys' dormitory. Zoe reluctantly walks out and approaches Jason, inquiring as to what's going on. However, he doesn't reveal anything, pretending that everything is fine. Meanwhile, Laura considers Zoe a threat and devises a strategy to counteract her. After class, she asks Zoe to stay and shows her the results in which she has failed. The latter cannot believe it because she has always been a bright student. Laura pretends to care about Zoe and extends a second chance to her. She asks that Zoe stay after school for the re-exam. After this, she purposefully leaves the answer key on the desk. As instructed, Zoe arrives at class to take her re-exam and notices the answer key on the table. As she looks at it, Laura suddenly enters the classroom and reports her to Sister Rebecca for cheating. However, the headmistress finds it hard to believe, as Zoe always tops her class. Later, a bishop visits the school and he is welcomed by the headmistress. During their conversation, he inquires if Sister Sophia is fitting in at the new school. He describes her as a ray of sunshine, which the headmistress finds hard to believe, since the Sophia she knows is completely different from what the bishop has described. Over the next weekend, Sarah invites Jason to a party at her house and tells him to bring his guitar. During dinner time, Jason asks his parents if he can attend the party, but the conversation ultimately turns into an argument about his future. Regardless, Jason goes to Sarah's party, unaware that he is being stalked and followed by Sophia. Once there, Sarah approaches him and takes him to her room. She tries to kiss him, but he is too caught up in his own mess, so he abruptly leaves without any explanation. Jason then grabs a bottle of beer and leaves the party, while Sarah follows him behind. However, she is caught off guard when she realizes that her car has been vandalized, which is most likely one of Sophia's works to get back at her. In the next scene, Jason nearly gets into trouble with the cops, but lucky for him, Sophia arrives just at the right moment to settle the matter. After that, Jason tells her that he is too drunk to go home in such a condition, which becomes just the perfect opportunity for Sophia as she takes him to her apartment. She will be doing no fasting, abstaining, or confessing tonight. Once there, the psychotic nun becomes unreasonably delusional and asks Jason to leave the country together. But, fortunately, he snaps out of his drunken state and flees from the place. The following morning, when Zoe and Jason get ready for school, the former notices a suspicious car driving by their house. She later finds out that the car belongs to none other than Sophia. Later, when Jason returns to his dormitory, he shockingly finds Sophia unconscious on his bed. He also notices a bottle of pills on the table and concludes that she committed the unthinkable. Terrified, he hurriedly conducts CPR on her, hoping to bring her back to consciousness. And this is when the paranoid nun suddenly wakes up and kisses him. She then reveals that she was just faking her death to see if he cared about her. Irritated, Jason threatens to report her to the school board, but she instead gets back at him by revealing that she has a video of them getting it on with each other. This leaves Jason in a state of utter shock. The next day, Sarah returns to school, much to Sophia's anger. As she feels threatened, she sneaks into Sarah's room and finds her in the shower. She then bashes Sarah's head into the wall, instantly murdering her, but setting the scene to look like an accident. After a while, Zoe finds her roommate dead in the shower and becomes horrified. The following day, she confronts Jason and asks about his relationship with Laura. At first, he hesitates, but when the persistent Zoe keeps pressing him, he finally reveals everything, leaving her stunned. Zoe believes that Laura isn't a real nun, as she behaves differently. As a result, they decide to sneak into Laura's room to look for evidence. There, they find her laptop, which is filled with pictures of Jason, and also learn that her actual name is Laura. Meanwhile, the headmistress learns that Sophia has been lying about her aunt being sick. She angrily confronts her about it, and threatens to report it to the father of the school. However, before she can say any more, Sophia knocks her out with a lamp. She helped her to see the light. A while later, the siblings arrive at Sister Rebecca's cabin, but are unable to locate her. Realizing that something bad happened to her. They rush to the church. Soon, Laura also arrives there and notices Jason holding her laptop. She insists he accompany her, but Zoe tells her to leave him alone. This angers Laura, and she immediately knocks Zoe out. She then proceeds to finish off Jason, but Rebecca arrives in the nick of time and pulls her back. Enraged, the lunatic woman strangles Rebecca, but Jason takes advantage of the distraction and stabs her from behind, finally killing her. The final scene of the movie shows the siblings graduating from high school. Despite all that has happened, they are now looking forward to living their life to the fullest again.